So let's see, we got a Han Solo movie now, we're going to have an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and then we're going to have a Boba Fett movie. So it's time to play around for what Star Wars character gets their standalone movie next. Do we have A, the blue elephant from the bar at Jabba's palace? Do we have B, one of these little mouse droids? Or do we have C, Jar Jar? No, just take it out, go to the intro. It's laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. We'll talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Yeah. Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Laser Dude. Thank you for watching my review, because right now we are going to do a little quick review here on Solo. Well, not a quick review. Quick reviews are different things I do. Anyway, let's move on. So Solo is the newest Star Wars movie about Han Solo in his younger days, played by Aaron Elrich. Okay, that wasn't correct, but this guy's name is it's like a trick. It's like, his name is like, you keep on thinking you're right, but it's Alden Ehrenreich. Ehrenreich? Alden Ehrenreich. Okay, yeah. He plays Han Solo as a young man. We also got Donald Glover as a young Lando Calrissian, and we got Woody Harrelson in this movie, and Daenerys Targaryen. That's not fair. She has a name. It's the Mother of Dragons. No, it's Emilia Clarke. Anyways, we see Han Solo as a young man and how he grows up on a backwater planet, and then he escapes from the planet, joins the Empire, but never really wants to be part of the Empire, and then he has to find a band of scoundrels and joins up with them, and how he meets Chewbacca and Lando, and how he gets the Millennium Falcon, and all the stuff that we were semi-curious about. Curious enough for a movie. Hey, I guess if they can make an entire movie out of getting the Death Star plans, there's a lot more material that Han Solo can do. So, this movie, I've been hearing it's a little divisive, but I'm not sure if it's in the same level of Last Jedi divisive. I'm thinking that this movie is a flawed but fun movie for me. That's how I view it. It's flawed. Not all of it works. A lot of it works. But in the end, it was just okay. And I think that's where some people are really, hating it. And I think that's why, it's not on the same level as Last Jedi. Because Last Jedi, people either hate it or they love it. And, that's an easy way it's an easy fence to fall on either side of it, It's like you either respect the giant stories, leaps that it took, and respect what it tried to do and tried to tell, or you feel like it failed in every attempt and was disrespectful to the Star Wars genre. Where Solo, from what I can gather, it's just okay, and people don't know how to process that. So let me just tell you what I like and what I didn't like. I liked Han Solo. I liked it. I think he played a good enough version of a younger version of him. I mean, does he sound like him? Not exactly, but if he was trying to do a Harrison Ford impression, it probably wouldn't have turned out as good. Why am I turning into Nicolas Cage? That's not my intent. Wasn't my intent to turn into Nicolas Cage. I just can't do Harrison Ford. Anyways, yeah, I wouldn't want him to do an impression. He's just a younger version of him. Honestly, I like the way they tell the story. I just honestly wish they did certain things differently that would have made the story a lot stronger. I'll get more into details on that in the spoiler part of the review, but the one thing that I will say right now is I wish they expanded this time scale, Like, they go to things, there's like we see Han, and then there's like a 3-year gap, and then he meets this other guy, and then they go on this humongous adventure together. I would have liked there to be more interactions with that. I'd like him to stick, what if he was with that crew for a number of years and stuff like that. I guess that'll go more into the spoiler part, but Woody Harrelson plays a guy, Tobias Beckett. Anyways, so he's basically like the prototype of Han Solo. He's the guy that Han Solo really idolizes himself after and models himself after. And we really get some really good scenes with him. And I think Woody Harrelson really gives his character a lot more of a personality, and really we get to see where Han Solo is in all this. The downside is Han's a little bit of a sucker in this. I mean, like, he falls for things too easily. Like, I think that's kind of the point of the movie, where he, you know, he learns how to not trust the world, and, like, you can't trust anybody, even those you really care about, sort of thing. I think that's, like, the point of the movie, and the lesson that Han learns and has to unlearn by the time he gets to A New Hope. But still, I think there's a few times where I'm like, come on, Han, you can see this coming. But they don't make him as adult. They don't do it. He's not adult. He's not a complete idiot or anything. You know, he's just, he acts in a lot of ways like what Han Solo would act, you know? A little bit cocky, sometimes he oversteps what he's actually able to do and it backfires in his face, but that's Han Solo for you. So, I have a hard time, I'm thinking I'm having a hard time going around this movie without talking about spoilers, so I think I'm just going to do a quick run around of what I think about other parts of this movie, and then I'll go into more detail with the spoilers. So, action is okay. Not many scenes that are too memorable that really stood out to me. There's funny moments. Humor was good all around. I think all the characters had humorous moments. Chewbacca and Han Solo worked off of each other really, really well. I think that was a lot of fun to see their interactions off of each other. The villain, played by Paul Bentley, was kind of a little bit of a... He wasn't in there long enough to really establish a presence, and he didn't really do anything that gave him much of a presence either. Emilia Clarke does an okay job. I found her character too really predictable and one-dimensional. Not really a lot of aspects to her, especially since a lot of the times in movies she's like, you don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've done. And we never find out what she did, so it's just like, okay, I guess we don't. Bye. But with all that being said, I think that people who hate on this film might have been expecting a little bit too much. I mean, honestly, with the whole way that behind the scenes that's happened with this movie, I think the movie turned out a lot better than it could have. You know, like with the whole firing of the previous directors and bringing in Ron Howard, who has a completely different directing tone from the other two directors. I think that this movie very well could have been not good at all. And I think that, honestly, that it ended up being okay. And I think that's kind of disappointing for people who want these Star Wars movies to be the best ever. But let's be honest here, none of these new Star Wars movies have really reached the level of the original trilogy. There's always something that it doesn't have completely. Rogue One has like the tension and atmosphere, but doesn't have the characters. The Force Awakens has the characters, but not really a new story. The Last Jedi has the story, but not necessarily putting the characters in the right ways and using them to the best of their abilities. There hasn't been a home run Star Wars movie out of these new ones yet, but they've all been overall thumbs up for me, and I think this is an overall thumbs up, but just not an enthusiastic thumbs up. So I'm just going to give Solo a 6 out of 10. That's how I feel about the movie. I think it's good. It's not super great, and some things were a little... I'm a hard guy to please, because sometimes when things don't go the exact opposite of what I wanted them to go, I don't like it. But sometimes when things go how I expected them to go, I don't like that either. You know, I kind of want a nice middle path where it's like, you go down the right way, but you do it in a way that makes it good. So, now I'm into the spoiler part of the review, and I want to make this quick because I don't want to spend too much time. But let's just go over everything that I think about this movie. Maul wasn't needed. That just feels like it was a twist for the sake of having a twist. I don't really see why you would need to do anything with that. That's boring and stupid. Maul was alive at the time, but we already know how his story ends if you watch Rebels, so it's a weird twist. You know, it's like a war movie showing, oh my gosh, Hitler was there! When we know Hitler dies, it's not much of a twist. That was probably a bad analogy, but I couldn't think of an analogy for it. Next, the Kessel Run. I didn't like it. I didn't think, for one thing, we get another flippin' tentacle monster. Although, to be fair, I think this tentacle monster was to poke fun at the previous two tentacle monsters, because all it does is show up, then it goes into a black hole, and we see its whole skeleton get crushed and whatnot. Still, didn't care for that part of the scene, and the whole thing is I thought the Kessel Run was something that he would do frequently. You know, it was a dangerous run through Imperial blockades and whatnot, but he would do it, and he would do it frequently, and he would get through it easily. But now it's just like, oh, it was this one time I did a secret mission Kessel Run, I've been bragging about it ever since. To be fair, though, I like how as soon as he's done, Han's bragging about it to the first person he sees. I just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Yeah. Did you know? Yeah, I just did that. But, you know, the Kessel Run makes it sound like something that all smugglers did or whatnot, and he just happened to do it the best. Not like it was this one-time mission, and he happened to get lucky. I didn't like Han speaking Wookiee. I mean, Han isn't spoken Wookiee for 9 films, or whatever. How many? I guess 7 films. Or, no, I guess he's only been in 4. What am I saying? Well, now 5. But why wouldn't have Han ever, you know, there might be something that he might want to say to Chewbacca and Wookiee, why wouldn't he have done it before? I mean, and especially since Chewbacca knows human, it's kind of pointless for him to have said it. And besides, us going, oh, is a lot different than actual Wookiee speak. Still, Chewbacca was a lot of fun. He's always fun. I've never had a time where I've said, we need less of Chewbacca. Because Chewbacca is always fun. I would have even wanted them to keep that scene in The Force Awakens where you see him rip a guy's arms off. Oh, but we do get that scene here. We do get the scene here where he ripped a guy's arms off, and that's... to actually see it is kind of cool because we've heard Han talk about it in the first movie. Oh, and what I was saying earlier about the pacing. Okay, Han, and Chewbacca escape from the Imperial camp, and they go with these smugglers, or I guess they're more like thieves, and they, you know, try to rob a train, and the job goes badly, and then eventually they have to do another job for the guy, or else they're all going to get hunted down. I don't like that. Honestly, well, I don't like that we go straight from there to there. I think Han and Chewbacca should have been with this group for a couple of years. You know, do some time ahead, where it's like, oh man, Han, you're gonna mess up again. Remember that time I got you into the pit? Yeah, but you remember when I drove you out of there? No, you didn't. You ran away. I was coming back. You know, some sort of crew interaction with. That way, when he shoots first at the end, it feels more impactful, because this isn't just a guy I met a couple of days ago. This is the guy that I view as my leader, my mentor, and someone I spent all this time with and really, really care about. And it would have made that scene more impactful. And, you know, you just have these guys with the crew for a couple of years, send it forward a couple of years, and, you know, maybe Han isn't still looking for a ship like he was, like, that's what he was saying. He was like, I need enough money to buy a ship, then I'll go get my girl. What if they did go check up for her, and she was gone, and nobody knew where she went, and then he meets up with her in this movie? Yeah, sure, it's still a coincidence, but I think it makes the film have that harder hit moment at the end. I like the fact that Han shot first. I kind of involuntarily said as soon as he shot, I'm like, ah, he shot first! I mean, it was like, I didn't even have control of what I was saying, it just popped right out.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel.
As I say, overall, I enjoy Solo, and I probably would pick it up and buy it. But I don't think it's an amazing movie. I think that there are some things that don't really work with the past films, but that's not necessarily the main problem. The main problem is a predictable plot. Not a lot of the characters have a lot of development, and it's, you know, it's lacking in some areas. And other areas, I think it excels, you know, it's fun. I had fun with this movie. Beyond that, I'm not going to say it's anything to write home about. So, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Laser Dude. See ya.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.